welcome to the Property Project podcast. You're here with Sean and...
I'm Cindy. I don't know if there should be like a jingle or like a...
No, that's fine.
That's fine.
Get straight to it, you know?
Okay, I don't mind.
Yeah, man. This episode, we're going to be talking about, just getting into detail about our...
properties.
Yeah.
And what we've acquired and how we've done that. And yeah, just strategies we've used, tips, tricks, pros, cons.
Yeah.
All of that.
Things that we've struggled with, things that we found successful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the main thing, I guess, to get started is that we do have, well, I keep saying 5, but as of today, we have 6 properties.
Oh yes, 6. Yeah.
See, we haven't planned to celebrate. We haven't done nothing, and that one took a lot of legwork.
Yeah,
to be fair, that was a lot of back and forth.
Yeah,
but we finally got it, and it's in an area that we've got one of our other essays in anyway. So we know the demand is there. It's a bigger property than we have been used to. I guess.
Yeah.
But we're excited for it.
We've been saying that we wanted a property like this in that area.
Yeah.
And it just showed the consistency in terms of we just kept sticking to our guns and we finally got there. We got there.
So I guess in terms of when we started our property journey in November last year, so November 2022. And we did all our training. We trained with 𝐦𝐨𝐬𝐬.
Yeah.
And that was really good. We started with the £1 crash course, and then we did we did another course.
Are we gonna go through that?
Yeah, let's do the chain of events.
Honestly, in one of the past episodes, we spoke about the difference between me and you, how I like to, know each step, plan each step. So if you ask me to spend a large amount of money, I need to know why, what for, when am I going to get this money back? Is it worth it? All that stuff before I even think about putting my hand in my pocket.
Yeah.
But we went to the £1 crash course, and then we enjoyed that. They sold the course, deal selling masterclass.
Yeah, we went to another. Yeah, I think it was deal selling masterclass with 𝐦𝐨𝐬𝐬𝐬, and then from there we joined the academy. And for those who don't know the academy, and everyone's gonna have a difference of opinion of who you should train with, blah blah blah. I'm not in with that kind of politics. I just want to do the learning.
Yeah.
And the learning was really, really helpful. We got the online stuff, and we still use that. We go back to it when we're stuck or when we need that kind of moment of inspiration. And it's just good to like refresh the information that you've learned before, to like re-clue yourself up on it. Do you know what I mean?
And I think as well, it's very important to, there's not just one person you learn from. You learn from so many. You attend different courses. Go to different networking events where people are speaking, or certain professionals and experts are speaking and giving their insights on things. So I think it's very important you might hear 3 people talk about strategy of rent to rent, or the strategy of doing BRRs and stuff like that. And, you'll be able to, after you hear them speak, you'll be able to think about and take out what you think is valuable and kind of throw away the rest. And then you'll be able to kind of put your own unique spin or niche on how to deal with those different strategies. So that's what I think is important anyway.
Yeah. And then you've lost me because I think we were starting about the journey.
Sorry, yeah. So just went on a tangent. So I don't even know at what point
but it's happened.
Yeah,
we're happy for it.
Yeah, so we went there. We
joined the academy. But yeah, as you said, obviously you go to so many different places. I'm not really with the politics about
because we didn't start at with 𝐦𝐸𝐬𝐬.
No, we didn't.
Started with
it was another company.
Progressive Property.
Yeah.
With Kevin McDonald.
Yes, that's actually true.
That's how we actually got into property.
But that was before November, and nothing was really happening for us.
Yeah.
I think it depends on your learning style and how you pick up information. For me, because 𝐦𝐸𝐬𝐬𝐬 is so high energy all the time, it draws my attention. Anyone who's kind of like slow paced and like I can't pick up the information, but you're really great at like just absorbing information. I need this particular style in order to absorb information. So choose whoever you need to, whoever you want, that has good reviews, good credibility, has done it themselves. Don't let anyone coach you into or kind of force you into signing up with them when they haven't done these methods themselves and they haven't got any recent examples. I think recent examples is so key, because you can't have someone who did this 50 years ago telling you about properties now when they haven't redone that.
It's always changing.
It's always changing.
I would even say that the strategy that we do has changed since we've been in it.
Definitely.
Do you know what I mean? So
100%.
It's always changing.
100%. But yeah, we did the training with Samuel Leeds, and then within, and I say this lightly just so that you guys have a time frame, but not everybody's time frame is going to be the same, and do not kick yourself if you do not get it in the same time frame as Sean and I, because we are two people and we had a lot of consistency at the time. So we ended up securing our first property within 3.5 weeks.
3.5 weeks
of being on the academy. So that was from the beginning of November. We joined the academy with Samuel Leeds, and towards the end of November, we had secured. We'd had identified 2 properties that we wanted to go with.
Yeah, both in the same area.
Both in the same area. Both were our patch area, which was Reading, which is where most of our portfolio is anyway. But you had actually sourced one, and I had sourced the other one.
Yeah.
And we were both 2 completely different types of properties, 2 completely different areas within Reading.
Yeah. And they even both sourced 2 completely different ways. Mine was through an estate agent.
Yeah.
Yours was through a landlord.
That's
direct to landlord.
Shows how much we're opposites, right?
There you go.
It actually shows. But we managed to secure those deals towards the when I say secure deals, I mean like contracts, keys in hand, all those kind of processes by the beginning of December.
I think it worked out to be about probably by the second week of December.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, by the second week of December, where we're all we're basically living there now because
yeah. And just like a side note as well, people always say like it's an easy transition of getting the keys and like management contracts signed and stuff, but just remember, everybody's process is different. Every landlord is different. If you try to rush a landlord who does not want to be rushed, you will not get the keys in your hand.
100%.
So like, just don't listen to people saying, oh yeah, bring the contract with you, get the landlord to sign. Because some landlords will want to ask 2001 questions before they sign a document.
Exactly.
And rightly so. Because at the end of the day, especially if they've never done this way of renting before, there's a lot of questions that that you should be asking.
Yeah. You just have to think, would you sign something that you've not really heard of on that day?
Without
no, you wouldn't do that. So you're not going to expect.
You might do if you're me.
You might
just jump in without really asking any questions. But if
but you would still have questions.
I might have 3. I might have 3.
And as long as those
will I get paid? Yeah, literally.
Stop it.
As long as those are answered, I probably would dive in. But a sensible person and somebody who wants to know how they're receiving their money. I thought you were winking at me for a second.
easy Tiger.
As someone who wants to know where their money is going, or how their property's going to be managed, or how the money's going to come in, they are going to have questions. So yeah, just on a side note, don't rush your landlord if the landlord is not wanting to be rushed.
Yeah.
There are some landlords who do want things to happen quite fast and quite quickly because they're so, I guess, not desperate in a mean way, but they are desperate.
They're motivated.
Yeah, they're motivated. That's a good word. I like that.
Yeah, man.
They're motivated to have the money coming in. But yeah, we initially secured those first 2 properties and we practically moved into Reading. So one thing that you need to know when setting up your service accommodations is you probably should live there. If you don't live there for the weeks that you're setting up.
If you're doing it yourself.
If you're doing it yourself, by the way. If you have a management team in place to manage it and do everything, then by all means, don't live there. But a lot of our experience and understanding the property, how to switch on the boiler, how to open the doors, how to open certain windows, where the wind, or there's gaps in the windows where the wind comes through and it makes a specific room cold. You won't know that unless you are in the property setting.
Where the circuit breaker, where the consumer unit is, all of that stuff.
All of that. You won't know.
Yeah, because these are all questions that you're gonna get as you're running, a service accommodation rental. You're gonna get these questions from guests.
Yeah.
And you don't want to be in a position where you've been asked, "How do I turn on the hot water?" And you actually don't know because you haven't actually looked at it.
You haven't been
there. Because you haven't been
there. You need to go there. You need to live there. You need to experience it. But we definitely lived there, in between both properties while setting up. Do you want to talk about your 3-bed that you acquired and how you did that, and then the setting up process?
Okay, so
I guess as quickly as we can, because then we're gonna have the other 5 properties to go through.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay, so the 3-bed. This is a 3-bedroom, 4-bath. So they tried to advertise it as a 4-bed. 4-bath. No, 3-bedroom, 1-bath.
Yeah.
They tried to advertise it as a 4-bedroom because the upstairs landing they tried to use as a bedroom. It just didn't make any sense because to get to 2 of the other bedrooms upstairs, you'd have to walk through that bedroom.
Everyone can access it, basically.
Yeah, it didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So originally, so I was cold calling estate agents trying to find deals as you do. Came across this estate agent. They said they didn't have I went for a viewing in a different location, but that just didn't work for us. So not every deal that's given to you works for you. So we decided not to take that one. So I kept in contact with the estate agent. They decided, okay, yeah, we've actually got one in Reading. We don't normally deal with Reading, but we've got one in Reading. Do you want to have a look? So I thought, let me go down and have a look. The place was not in a great state.
It was run down.
It was run down because what had happened was they had someone move in there who only lasted a few months, and then they just had to leave abruptly. And to this day, we don't know why.
He might have been a drug dealer.
He might have been a drug dealer.
Making his money.
Yeah.
But that was okay with us because then we ended up getting the property. So I don't care.
So he had left, and the landlord was really desperate to get someone in there. So obviously, we saw an opportunity for a deal. So we was like, okay, all right, yep. And we got it at a very good rate as well.
Very
good rate.
Now looking back, I don't think we realised how good of
a deal
we got.
Yeah.
For the rent, considering how many rooms it was.
Yeah. So at this situation, at this point in time, we've now we've gone through the whole legalities and got the contract signed and everything. Then we moved in. The first thing we needed to do was take up the carpets. So the carpets was, when I tell you, if you see our Instagram, you'll probably see the state of the carpets. The carpets were run down. What else was wrong with the property?
It's just an old building. I don't think it's even because it wasn't maintained or because of the last tenant. The last tenant barely really moved himself in. He was like living I don't know. It was he hadn't moved in. There were no duvet carpet. Do you know what I mean? He hadn't moved into the property. It was like one sofa.
There's that one rug.
It was. He hadn't moved in. He just whatever he was doing there. It was just there to be there basically.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just an old property that hadn't been maintained and kept to a good standard.
Yeah.
So I guess we did the flooring.
So
kind of because I know we're gonna have to go into the other properties as well. We did the flooring.
Yeah.
And then.
All right. Let me summarize then. Yeah. So with this one, because we were also in between again the Manchester property as well, having to set that up. So that would have been 3 properties in around that time as well. We then outsourced someone to come and repaint and redo the flooring. Wrong decision. And we'll probably touch on that again a bit later. But if we had a bit more time, we probably would have dealt up with ourselves because that left us in a position to be open to be bumped basically.
Yeah, but it wasn't even their fault. I think they nothing to do with who we kind of requested to complete the painting work on the floor. And the flooring, they did a decent job. Yeah, they've done a good job on it. It's not about how they dealt with it. It's more the fact that now looking back, in order to save costs, now we do painting in I'm a painter. Check my CV, I'm a painter. Yeah. That kind of thing. Now we do all of that.
Yeah. We could have done it
ourselves. Yeah. So I would just say the things that you can learn on YouTube, please learn on YouTube. The things that you can't, then obviously outsource that. Yeah. But yeah, we pretty much.
Yeah, so we turned that around. Yeah. And then as soon as we got that up and running, we had a booking come through who was they were a contractor, and then through using our techniques to get direct bookings, turns out they wanted a 12-month contract, which again worked out for us. Yeah. They stayed they didn't fulfill that 12-month contract, but
they were there for 4 months.
4 months, but I think there was issues with the parking because our street parking is permit parking anyway.
Which we've now figured that out.
Which we've worked out. So again, we're still in touch loosely with them, and if they ever need a place in Reading, again they've got that place. So that was the first place. Yeah. The second one was.
And just to add with the 4 months, that straight away, which again, when we talk about our experience, don't think that your experience is going to mirror that, because you may have a whole week of nobody being in contact with you or no inquiries, and that could be about how you're advertising and stuff. So this is just our experience, and so many other people are going to tell you different experiences of setting up an Airbnb, you know, a service department, or, you know, your property to advertising that online. But the contractors ended up, because they were staying, we were immediately in, it's not profit because you haven't really got all your money back, but we were making profit at that point in terms of that specific booking. I think it was like about $1,000 each month or more. It was in the winter months, which can be really difficult. It was about about $1,000, slightly more than $1,000, maybe like $1,200 or something. $200, so that's just from one property. So yeah, we had that one, and then we got the other property which I had secured at the same time that you were securing, the 3-bed. It was a 2-bed top floor apartment with like a balcony views. You can see Reading Stadium. From the balcony. So 2 completely different properties, and it'd be interesting to see which one everyone thinks makes the most money out of those 2. Yeah. Because the one that I thought would isn't the one that makes the most money, still makes good money, but isn't the one that makes the most money. So it'd be interesting for people to kind of decide and order out of the properties which ones they think is making the most money. But yeah, this one was a brand new, not brand new, but really good new build type style property. Newish, and yeah, it was, we furnished it. Such an easier process than the 3-bed. Because it was in a steady, good condition. We furnished it. Then we got our first booking, which we'll talk about another time. We're always going to talk about something another time. But that was chaos. But we got our first booking whilst we were abroad, and that was a really, really good one. And then, like you said, we had the 3rd property in Manchester, which we no longer have. That was a joint venture, which is where you partner with somebody else who has the time or the money to add to your portfolio, really. So in this situation, we were the finance part of it. And we did add time. We did add time, but they were the time. So that was a 2-bed, 2-bath top floor apartment in the city centre of Manchester. So banging property. The location was great. Everything like that. But no longer, we don't have that one. We don't have that anymore. And we'll explain that at another date. I think they're tired of hearing another date, but that'll keep you with us in it. So exactly. Everything at another date. And then after that, so that was like the first month of like November into December, into like the new year. And then after that, we actually bought a deal. We bought a deal, and if the sources are happy for us to like name them or put their details down in the description, then we'll do that. But we bought a deal from someone that we'd met from the academy. They were selling a really good deal in Brighton. We didn't have the funds because we just put all our funds into 3 properties in the space of like 2 months. And like pretty much savings, they was low. From here down to here. You think that's the thing about property. It makes you realize if you thought you had money, you don't. Okay. We're just comfortable with thinking we have money because that's what the government wants us to do. And wants us to think. We were comfortable. Now I know we were because our money wasn't being challenged, or it wasn't fluctuating. It wasn't going up or down. It was just steady. Do you know what I mean? But we were actually poor. Like now I know we were poor. We weren't comfortable, we were poor. But we then had a joint venture with my sister, where she put in the finances, and she was wanting to get into property. She's also joined the academy. So she put in the finances and we put in the time, but we bought the deal. So that was another strategy that we used. We didn't source it on our own. We used a deal sourcer to get that property. We set Brighton up really, really well. And that one was slow. It was a slow starter. It was a slow starter. It was probably hitting about 50 to 60% occupancy of when we started, and that went live in February. And then March, it was again, I'll tell you, 50% in February, 60% in March, Mm.
Then April, then it started to climb up.
Like by May.
But
I think with that one, there was a lot of competition. When we chose Reading,
Yeah.
Reading was being talked about in terms of a patch area. And a patch is like choosing the place that you want to specialize in. Basically,
Yeah.
Where you want to
become an expert.
Yeah, you want to become an expert in that area. You want to have loads of your service accommodations, loads of your deals in those areas and your properties in those areas. And we'd chosen Reading at the time, but we really wanted Brighton because Brighton's pretty much kind of down the road from us to an extent. Easy drive.
And each of us has spent like a lot of time in Brighton. Again, growing up, I used to have family. These are my guys, so friends that went to uni in Brighton. So I spent a lot of time down there.
I'd done my birthday, celebrated my 25th birthday. There was a lot about Brighton that we really loved, and we really wanted to have a property there.
Exactly.
So we couldn't, for the life of us, we could not secure a deal there.
Yeah.
It ended up being the place we sold the most deals from now.
Yeah.
But we couldn't secure ourselves a deal, and then somebody brought a really good deal to us in our academy group chat. We paid the sourcing fee through our joint venture partner, who was my sister, and we set that one up. Slow burner, not like the others, because of the it's competitive. Brighton is competitive.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to do it because everyone thinks it's going to be amazing. But don't forget that Brighton is seasonal.
Yeah.
So what you're going to depend on in Brighton, or places like Brighton that are like beaches and those type of places.
The coastal places.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the word I'm looking for.
Coastal. Yeah.
They are seasonal, so you're going to rely in the winter months, or the month that is going to be the lower seasons. You're going to rely on like direct bookings.
Yeah. So just a side note as well. Another story that we're going to talk about at another time again is one of our first viewings that we went on, which was to another coastal place.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, but we'll talk about that one. And that one, we'll talk about that one because, as you said, coastal and seasonality and stuff like that. I think that's something that definitely needs to be taken into account when you're looking for locations of service accommodation.
Yeah.
But
so we got that one as a sourced deal for us through a deal sourcer. I'm never opposed to buying deals off deal sources if it makes things fast, easy, and if it's a good enough deal. But I also, on the flip side, would advocate you doing your own research first and attempting to get your own deals.
Just make it make sense. Yeah. I feel like the first deal, you should never buy your first deal. I personally feel. It depends. If there's
depends where you are in the property game, I would say. And your knowledge.
It needs to make sense.
Yourself up on. There's so many difference of opinions in terms of buying deals and when you should buy deals.
Yeah.
I completely respect the opinion of don't do it if it's your first deal, because I can see the reasons why. Because if you don't know how a service accommodation is run, if you don't know things about nightly rates, if you don't know things about demand in the area, and haven't properly clued yourself up on that, you're going to be at a loss regardless.
And it's easy for people to, take advantage of your position and get the wool pulled over your eyes. Really. Yeah. That's why, just in my opinion, I would always say that never buy your first deal, because if you bought your first deal, you'll go through the errors and stuff like that, and you might not get it right. But, if you do it yourself, like your first deal yourself, you're able to understand when someone's kind of not being straightforward with you if selling you a deal. You're able to do your own due diligence in order to make sure that you are getting a good deal, and you're not just being spun a ball of yarn and just be like, this is a great deal, but these times the rent's like 4,000. Do you know what I mean? And you're going to be at a loss.
And on the flip side, I think I would say you could and should buy a deal, for your first property or the first property on your portfolio. The reason I would say that is because we bought it on our third property. We bought a deal. It was our fourth property at the time. Yeah, and we still, although it wasn't the sourcer that did anything wrong, but I was really naive in that process, and I literally thought that the numbers were concrete. Yeah, like they always say, obviously not, and I'm not saying to a T like I was going to get each pound that was said on the numbers spreadsheet. Yeah. But I was naive in thinking, I didn't think about winter months because the spreadsheet showed me such high numbers and really good cash flow, which it does in the summer. Yeah. But in the winter, it's not the same. Case, yeah. So, for that reason, I say at any point, you could be naive to getting a deal sourced for you. Yeah. So I would say that could happen on your first property, that could happen on your sixth property. It really depends. But yeah, I would say, either way, just make sure you know what you're doing and make sure you have the knowledge and the foundation. That's the main thing. And make sure you've at least seen other people do it.
Yeah.
Or like shadowed somebody else or got the experience from somebody else so that you know, or you have somebody on deck who can have a look at this deal for you that you trust and you've worked with before or have a close relationship with. So yeah.
It's just all about the knowledge.
Yeah.
If you've got the knowledge, then by all means buy
as many
100 deals. Do you know what I mean?
easier,
Because if you've got the knowledge, you can go through it and you know whether it's a good deal yourself or not.
Yeah.
But yeah, moving on
and
to
then we got
the...
what was it after that?
Well,
four beds.
the mixed use one.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, so the four, we again got another 4-bed in
Reading.
And this was direct to landlord that you spoke to through Open Rent.
Yeah.
So it was a 4-bedroom house that had been newly renovated, and so we decided to do something different with this one. So 4-bedroom, 2-bath, great property.
Add the story behind that one was that the landlord was trying to sell because of the market couldn't get the number that she wanted in order to sell. And so she was like, I'm just going to rent it out. And she didn't really have I guess she did advertise a number in mind.
Yeah.
But we were able to offer higher. At times, don't forget the landlord wants to make money. And that's normal for anybody who's trying to make a living for themselves. The property is supposed to be an asset for them. So if they're not making money from it, how can you prove that you are able to add value to them?
Yeah.
So we were able to add a little bit more on the rent because the numbers made sense. And we ended up securing that one through Open Rent. I reached out to the landlord. She was super lovely, helped us with a lot of stuff in terms of moving in and getting the property started. There was no deposit. And I actually always think a landlord does deserve deposit because even though we say we're a company, it doesn't mean we're not going to mess up things or damage things. Everybody's human. Mistakes happen.
Yeah.
But this one was no deposit. So that was really helpful for us in terms of initial upfront costs. But we did this one as a mixed use.
So we rent out 3 bedrooms on a per room basis. So people stay in them long term. And then the 4th bedroom we put out on Airbnb rooms. Basically, how would you say it? It's like short-term stays for just the room.
Yeah.
So that one, it was very interesting to see how we was going to do that because again, Airbnb rooms was very new. So we didn't know what to expect with it. We was like, all right, we're going to try it out for a couple of months. If it doesn't work, then we're just going to let it just the same way as the other 3 bedrooms. And it turned out to be quite a success.
Yeah, that one was a huge risk because I think we were both in 2 minds. And again, this is where our differences show up again. It's like, I think you wanted to do it as a service accommodation.
Yeah, the whole property.
But I wanted it to be as a
like
a mini HMO, basically.
HMO, yeah.
And this isn't. I shouldn't. Well, it's not. It didn't need licensing. It's not that it's an unlicensed HMO because it was out of the Article 4 area. Which again we'll probably touch on in depth in another video. But
it is unlicensed. So it's a HMO, but it's unlicensed, and it doesn't need.
It didn't need licensing.
It doesn't need it
because it's not in an Article 4 area.
Yeah.
And it's within all the regulations and stuff.
Yeah.
So because we had that difference of opinion, you were like, okay, so how about we test one of the rooms and see what the demand is? I know you can't kind of still get an understanding of how the property would do if you were putting the whole property as a service department. But we just wanted to test what the demand was. And actually, it's been really, really good. And it's the place good. That's consistently been in steady profit for us because of the strategy that we've used. So sometimes get creative with your properties. You don't have to do it the way that you see everybody else doing it. We decided we were going to rent out 3 rooms long term, and then 1 room was going to be an Airbnb room or a service department room, a short-term let type room. And it's worked really, really well.
How much would you say that one makes
average? A low month is about 600.
Yeah.
And a really good month is probably about 1,500. Yeah. So that's a really good property. And again, it's probably been the least problematic in terms of guests staying. But yeah,
a few teething issues, but again, you get that with properties.
Nothing we can't work out.
Yeah, and then our fifth one, we got.
Yeah, that's fine. We might be able to.
Yeah, that's fine. So our fifth property was actually, in fact, our property.
Oh yeah. I was thinking, what was the fifth one? Yeah.
So we had a long-term tenant that was staying in our property, and
it's in London, by the way.
In London, and
London.
and they not decided, but they had to be evicted.
Oh.
They had to be evicted. So rather than going through that whole process of getting someone else in, we thought, okay, let's
put our money where.
How can we ask landlords to be able to trust us to do this thing and
not do it on our own property?
Yeah, not do it on our own property. First of all, you're not going to just do it on any property. You have to make sure that the demand is there and that it will work. And we've done all our research, run our numbers, and it made sense. We was like, yeah, why not? So as soon as the ex-tenant left, we went in, rolled up the sleeves, and got to work. We changed everything, repainted, added vanity mirrors, all sorts.
Because this was our own property, by the way. So I would always say, don't spend too much on setting up a property if it's not your own property, because you're just spending money refurbing somebody else's property for, something you're only gonna have that contract for 3 to 5 years. And even if you renew it, it's still not your property, and the landlord has benefited greatly from you spending, and then it's just gonna take you longer to get that return on your investment.
Yeah.
So obviously, complete a really good design on the property, stage it really, really well, but don't put so much money into it that
you're not going to get it back.
Yeah.
You want to get your return on investment as soon as possible.
Yeah.
And while you still have your intention to make the property nice, you've also got to weigh up, okay, I can make it nice, but is it going to be better for me return investment wise?
Yeah.
With this one, obviously it was our property. So, we're getting the benefits of doing it up on both fronts. So we ended up putting that on Airbnb, and we got a 2-month booking straight away.
Oh yeah, we actually did. We had 2, but remember 2 inquiries?
Yeah.
So while we were dealing with another inquiry, then somebody else booked, and it's for a similar amount of time.
Yeah.
I think the first initial booking, she actually came to view, and again, guys, don't feel that you can't allow somebody to view your property before they stay there. If it's going to be a long term, if it's going to be a long-term booking, and they're going to live there, that's going to be their base for 6 months, 8 months, 12 months. Allow them to view and allow yourself to create that space for them, because that's part of building the relationship as well. They're not only then 100%. Buying into the property, they're buying into you as a property manager. So we had our property, which is two bedroom,
1 bath, but we managed to fit 6 beds.
Yeah.
So 3 zip-link beds, which can be divided into 2 beds.
Yeah.
So 6 beds altogether, and then you've also got a sofa. We don't advertise it as a sofa bed, but it's a sofa, and I believe on Airbnb you can put it as a place. You can list it as a place to sleep.
Yeah.
So that's that one, and it's got I was gonna go into the details, but I sound like an agent trying to sell it. But and then the 6th property, which is going to be the 6th property.
Well, it is the 6th property now.
It is the 6th property now.
It is a 4-bed property right next to, on the same estate.
Say estate,
but it's not.
Same island.
Same island. It's actually called So same island. As our 2-bed that we got at the very beginning of our journey, and again we got that in November, so to have this now again in November is full circle for us. And it's a 4-bed property. We haven't staged it yet, but I'm excited and not excited to do that, because that's always where the trauma is. Going and seeing your money being spent, and the worry of is this gonna come back to me? Is this money gonna come back to me in?
I think this is where we really butt heads with that point, the staging point, because
we're under so much stress.
You're under a lot of stress, and at first you see all the minuses come out of your account, but you have to just remember that that money, whatever money you're spending, is going to come back to you tenfold. So you have to understand that. Again, don't get like emotionally invested in the money, but understand that this money that's going, it's going to come back, and it's going to feel so much better when it does come back. And then when you go past that point as well.
Yeah. So yeah, we haven't staged that one, but I'm excited to stage it. And like create another property that can be added to our portfolio and make another landlord happy.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? We
And
have really good relationships with our landlords. Yeah.
And this one's also through a joint venture as well. So
yes, it is.
a joint venture project. So again, hopefully this is going to be the first of many.
Yeah.
Because again, managing relationships and friendships and stuff like that, you will, especially business friendships as well, you'll be able to add so much value to this person or your joint venture partner, and you'll be able to grow. I want to say the word exponentially, but I'm just here throwing out big words. EXP. And that's it. That's all I got.
That's as far as it goes.
That's all I got.
Better than
But yeah, so that's where we are.
Yeah, that's where we are.
Moment.
I think that the goal for me is to at least acquire. Probably now, I want to give myself another 6 months. About 15 properties that is going to be on our portfolio.
Yeah.
So that it can truly be passive income, because still right now we're working for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we've spoken about that being a goal.
It's because we do a lot of it ourselves,
Yes.
but you know,
Yes.
I think we're slightly micromanagers as well. So
Yeah.
So yeah, if you are interested in trying to get involved in property, or you're interested in trying to put your money into something useful to create your passive income, let us know. Let us know, and we could definitely DM us, and then we can have a little chat.
Yeah, get you started on your property journey. So that'll be exciting. So yeah, I think that's another episode complete.
Yes, episode 3, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Oh, might be, might not be.
Maybe.
We'll depends which way around yeah.
But yeah, all right. Take it easy.